You can't see that it's recording, right?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it fucking does. Get home, don't drive again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Damn, he's a real one.
Holy shit.
Oh shit! Holy fuck! What the fuck?
Don't smile, bro.
Turn your light off, bud. Hey, buddy, turn your interior light off.
Bro, he's a real fucking
Holy shit!
Hey, watch out for that stuff, bro. Guess what, bro? Guess what? Checked my shit, couldn't do shit. Threw my shit back, said, have a good day, sir. Fucking guy out of his car and fucking hit that shit. Say shit, can't do shit. Can't do shit.
He really does have to
Can't do shit.
He really
The
does.
fuck?
What the
Threw
fuck?
my shit back in the car. Other cop ran through, saying, who the fuck is that?
Holy shit!
They said, oh shit.
Wait, how
Ran
does
my
he
shit.
actually have
Yo, they
diplomatic
ran,
immunity?
they ran my shit. Do not detain, do not arrest. Said, oh shit, threw my shit back. Didn't want to have to do shit with shit. Fucking got back in. They took off quick too. Oh. They took off hella quick.
Savage.
Fuck.
Bro, you really know
They were
your
fucking
shit.
out, bro.
Oh,
Yeah, that's funny. He threw your shit back in and then he said, don't drive. That's crazy. Wait, so like, why do you have a do not detain? Because of that DUI shit?
That's crazy.
Wait, why do you have that do not?
Hey, so yeah, pretty much right now, I just want to give some context to that video you just saw. This is literally later in the day. So that happened today at 2 a.m. in the morning, and right now it's like 10:30 p.m. So it's crazy to think like that, like was today. I was just thinking like, oh, yesterday, but no, I mean, this was like, happened today. So yeah, essentially, just kind of want to give some, context as far as like where all this is, what all this right kind of means. So if you go look back on my channel at a video called "It's Crazy How They Do You," that's the title. It's crazy how they do you. Essentially, I got charged with a false DUI. Went, wrong down the wrong way street, made an improper left turn. Pretty bad on my end. Just kind of like a mistake. The road was kind of tricky. It was a metro. I thought I had to go past the metro to make the left turn. Did that. There was no left turn. I was like, oh shit, went straight into, against the flow of traffic. There was no cars coming. It was all good. Got in the Jason lane. Bam, 200 cover cops pulled me over. I just got to saying too much. Watch the video for some more, detail on that. But essentially, towed my car. Brought me to a DUI checkpoint. Yeah, I really had to walk home from there. It wasn't too far of a walk. But yeah, it was a whole long thing. This was like last December of last year. So this is like 10 plus months ago, some odd. And yeah, right? And that all got kind of cleared up just a few months ago. Charges got dropped. Wasn't all nothing. Blew a 0.0 on the breathalyzer. So must have just assumed that I was on something, just some crazy stuff. So all that got dropped. Just ended up paying like a $300+ fine. Came out to like $380 something, right? Originally it was like $70, but after surcharges, all this other stuff, ended up like that, right? Just paid it, cash. Here you go. But I still have to get a drug screening done to actually get my license back, and that's kind of why my license is still suspended on the video, right? And so yeah, so gonna get into exactly like what happened before we got pulled over and kind of what led up to that. So essentially, and even before this, right, if you go back on that video, you kind of have understanding of a while ago looking into the difference between a United States citizen, a state citizen, all this different stuff, just to understand, right, this is the informational age. I mean, like, do you really know the law? Like, what does this all mean? These codes, violations. I mean, we live in the United States of America. Like, other than, if I didn't, hurt someone, damage someone's property, what can they really do to me? Because the rest of it is just violations, codes, ordinance, that the city projects, and, what does that have to do anything with me? I'm a free being living amongst, the earth, right? Just to understand what it really means to live in America, most people don't even really understand how big of a deal that is, right? So, you know, that kind of explains that. Not really gonna go further with any of that, right? But so yeah, so just like moments after we got pulled over, we were coming back from a friend's house, cooked us some salmon burgers, chicken. We had a good time. I wasn't under the influence of anything. Earlier we did smoke a little bit of a tree, the do-si-do. One of my friends was kind of drinking some beers. That's why he rode with us originally. So yeah, it was just us two in the car. So essentially we went back to a buddy's house. He went in to grab some water, and we're in his neighborhood. This cop starts, driving behind us. Me and my buddy are just parked there waiting for my other friend to come back. And at first I thought it was like a big truck, because they had like all their lights on. Like big trucks will have like all those like excessive lights up in the front. So I'm thinking it's that. But when it drives past us, it was not. It was like cops. I was like, oh crap. We were kind of joking on the way there. Oh, pulled over. It's always like, some shit really late, right? So we're like, damn. Friend comes in. He's like, hey, that's the op. There's a cop. Ha 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 ha. So we drive out of the neighborhood, and it's kind of a deep neighborhood. There's like 3 streets in. It's like, to understand how many like houses are just in that one development, kind of crazy. So we come out, and we come out of the neighborhood. We're about to turn on to like this main street, and the cop's like sitting up above with all of his lights on, and it was like, oh, that's him. He's just kind of like chilling there, right? So we drive. We bust this right. We get up a little ways. We're about to make this left turn. We're at a stoplight. There's 2 cars in front of us. My buddy starts talking about, hey, that cop, kind of joking, I guess. Hey, that cop is gonna drive up on us, and light us up. So we're like, oh, hell no. And the next thing I know, we're waiting for the light. Yeah, the cop really does, follows us essentially, right? Comes up, pulls up behind us, and we're like, oh, damn. Like, oh, shit. So my heart's kind of racing. I mean, whenever cops are behind you, if you could just imagine, it's like, it's always a dicey moment. But, so yeah. So I'm cooling. I'm like, yeah. They start asking, is your shit good? I'm like, yeah, I just have, expired license. They're like, what? Ha 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 ha. But then it goes green. We start to pull forward. Bam, lights come on. We're like, whoop. We're like, whoops. So yeah, there's 2 cars in front of us. So we were coming down this like pretty long street. So we didn't want to necessarily like pull over right there. I asked him, I was like, should I just pull over right here? Because it's not really like too much like room, to like, pull over and like just park there and shit. So we go up a ways, I'm just kind of driving. The cop's like, has his lights on behind us the whole time. We finally get up to this, there's like this Chase Bank, this, kind of neighborhood, right? So we pull in there, get over, park, so we can, come up. So we're like, damn, right? And that's the point to where they're asking me, I tell them that my license is expired. I just have like my passport card on me. So they're like, oh shit. They're like, oh my God. We're getting pulled over, in the car with like, 2 of my buddies, It's like, oh shit. So yeah, the cop walks up, he comes on the passenger side, right? Because he doesn't want to be in the middle of the road. But originally, I rolled down the driver's side window thinking he would be there, and I look over and he's over there. So I'm, oh shit. So we roll that down, and he calls me by my first name, and he says, hey man, you can't. I would like to kind of say exactly how he said it. He kind of said it like, if I got you had a tone to it. That's kind of how he was speaking, in my opinion. If I got your dumbass had a tone to it, that's the kind of tone he had. So, he says, and this is in the video, this is before I started recording. So he says, hey, you can't be, hey Brolin, you can't be driving with an expended license. Right? He said, it tells me that my license is suspended, right? He's like, you can't be driving with an expended license. Like, what are you doing, right? And I just tell him, like, I don't even know what to say, right? Because it's like, I'm like, what? I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, what are you even talking about? It doesn't even relate to me. Once again, right? And so I told him, I'm just, traveling. I'm just like going about my way. Like what? And I tell him I have my state ID on me. I just tell him I just have my state ID, right? I didn't even have my state ID. I think because I was just nervous, I just like said that. Like I couldn't in my head, project passport card. So regardless, I just said my state ID. I didn't even have, don't even have that. I had my passport card. So at this point, I already had my stuff ready for him. Like I had my registration, my insurance, and my passport card on me in my hand. So it was pretty quick too. I mean, other than that, he didn't really ask any other questions. Like he asked if there was any firearms or drugs in the vehicle. I said no. Other than that, he didn't ask us where we were coming from. None of that, where we were going, right? So I mean, pretty chill on that end. But essentially, I hand him it, right? I give him it, and then I'm pretty sure he looks at it, and then he just goes back to his squad car, I guess, to run the stuff, right? And yeah, I mean, we're in the car like fuck, you know what I mean? Both of my friends are like, oh shit, and this is the thing too to understand, especially with them two. I've talked about, being a United States, not a United States citizen, like a state citizen, and I'm on a do not detain list and all this different stuff, so on and so forth. And this is just stuff I've heard, just my understanding. This isn't stuff I've actually witnessed personally until an incident like this. So right, pretty interesting. So they were kind of right, and then my buddy says, that's in the passenger seat, says, let's see if, he knows his shit, you know what I mean? So it was kind of funny, like, oh shit. This is actually a time where it's like, let's see if all this shit you've been talking actually, results to some shit or what. So, right, pretty nuts. So he comes back. I think he asked me if I have a up-to-date insurance card, because I have up-to-date insurance. They're certainly taking money out of my account every month, so I'm good on that end. But just the card I had at the time was expired like 5 months, past due, and I just don't have like an up-to-date card, right? But my car's insured and all that stuff. I just don't have the card on me to really show that, right? So I mean, that kind of is a problem. And my license was expired. So he asked if I have up-to-date one. I just said, other than what I gave you, no, like that's it. Then he goes back. We're kind of talking, and that's the kind of the moment where I was like, I think to turn on my camera and start recording. So yeah, you can kind of see in the video, I posted up, my buddy in the back notices, and he's like, don't be recording. And I said, it doesn't matter. He goes, yes, it fucking does. And I'm like, fuck, I mean, and like, I don't, it didn't really matter. But, regardless, I just kind of put it down by like, just on the bottom right there, still facing up. And yeah, and then for the rest is kind of self-explanatory. So then, yeah, he comes up, throws the all my information right there on the dash. Literally comes up, throws it on the dash, says, get home, don't drive again, and walks off. And this is a really interesting thing. Another squad car at that point pulls behind him. Literally another, damn, I'm trying to think. Like, that's insane. So yeah, another squad car pulls in behind him at that point, and they take off pretty quick. And yeah, 2 cop cars leave. So at this point, kind of making assumptions, but I'm thinking he called in for backup, because this is kind of like a low-key town. This isn't like, I live in AZ, so it's not really like, in the middle of like, like a big city like Phoenix or something like that. You're pretty low-key, right? You know what I mean? Definitely on the growth, but not really too excessive. But yeah, and it's like 2 a.m. So yeah, another cop car pulls up behind, and yeah, and he does it on the dash, says that, walks back, and both of the cop cars peel off. And at that point, we drove off, and I kind of went on a rant, like can't tell shit, right? Because it was pretty excessive, right? And they kind of saw it for themselves, right? They're thinking like, what the hell just happened? Like, this man literally just got off. Like, they don't even really know what to make of it. And even me, I'm like, oh shit. Like, literally just like, oh, and let me go on my way. You know what I mean? Like they didn't want shit to do with shit, you know? And it's just really interesting too that really thinking about how the other cop car pulled up too. You know, and this was he pulled up, you know, when he threw, you know, my stuff in, and he was walking back. So they both peel off, right? And in my, you know, I'm thinking he called in, you know, had him come through, you know, typed in my passport number, you know, something came up, you know, couldn't, you know, do not detain, do not arrest, I don't know. Couldn't, you know, really do nothing, you know, getting my stuff back. Just said that, walked off, you know, said like, hey, don't come. He's like, man, I'm already here, you know. He's like, what happened? What's wrong? You know, like, what went down? He's like, I don't know. And they both just peeled off, right? Because my buddy was kind of saying, you know, maybe they just had something else going on, something bigger, right? I think he said like someone got skinned alive or something like that, right? But no, you know, it kind of would make sense too if, you know, a home invasion or, you know, burglary, so on and so forth. But if some shit like that did go down and he was like, I can't even deal with this right now, and just came up and just, you know, said it and peeled off and had to go deal with something else. But I'm thinking like, why would the other cop pull in behind him and then they both peel off? Why wouldn't he just go deal with that, right? If it was something like so serious to where he had to like leave, you know? So yeah, it's just like, I'm pretty sure that cop would have just said the hell with that. You know, he's gonna leave. I'm gonna go, you know, deal with that. He'll be right behind me. You know, we probably got other people on route too, right? So it just kind of really goes to show like what just went down, you know? And the whole point of this video, just kind of understanding that, yeah, man, I mean, you don't know what you don't know. So there's some, you know, tricky stuff out there to understand, like, what does that mean? And once again, right, like, you know, telling people like, you know, on my passport application, you know, I put, you know, when it asked me if I'm a U.S. citizen, you know, I filled out no, right? Like, what does that mean? And I still got issued a passport. What does that mean? You know, but I turned in my birth certificate, right, saying that I was born in the state of, you know, XYZ, you know, so I am, you know, born within the United States, you know, but I'm just claiming a different status, right? A different nationality. I mean, in that sense, right? So, you know, pretty interesting stuff, right? And on that video, right, it just kind of goes to show, like, you know, pretty interesting. And to some point, you know, I'm just kind of making conclusions on what they thought, what they did, what they had to do, what they saw. But I mean, it's kind of, you know, at some point, kind of common sense, right? Because, like I said, man, that man really pulled behind him. I mean, they both took off quick too, like, right? Like, just crazy. But this is really getting long, 16 some odd minutes. But I don't really want to take it any further than that. But you know, if I do end up speaking on this again, yeah, I'm just gonna attach, you know, the video to the in the beginning of this, right, and then kind of talk about it after. But I mean, kind of insane, right? I mean, just kind of goes to show, you know, what does that even mean, right? Like, what does the law actually say? You know, like, you know, how does this stuff, you know, come into play? These codes violations, right? These laws, you know. But regardless, that's all I kind of have to say about that. Hey, man, we really out there. We really out here, though.